Excellency, sir, allow me to thank the band for the
New tunes that we have heard this morning. They are very beautiful. The parade will march in review order. Shall we stand for the anthems? For the anthem?
kintu. Your Excellency, this is the time that the Director of Ceremonies is going to take over the rest of the program. And the Director of Ceremonies is the Minister for the Presidency, Honorable Millie Babirie Babalanda. Your Excellency, before she takes over, I would like to take this opportunity with great humility to thank you for the appointment that you gave me. Your Excellency, now I'm the Special Presidential Assistant. My name is Alice Muwanguzi, Special Presidential Assistant. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, I've been Brigadier General Felix Kulaije, the Defense Spokesperson, a Co-Deputy Director of Ceremonies. Madam Minister, you are welcome.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Uganda, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, National Chairman of the mighty party NRM, Retired General Dr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The First Lady and Minister of State, Minister of Education and Sports, Mama Janet Kataha Museveni. Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Retired Major Jessica Alupo Rosepel, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, Right Honorable Nabanja, Robinam Safir, the Third Deputy Prime Minister, Right Honorable Lukea Isanga Nakadama, the Right Honorable Secretary General of the NRM Party, Right Honorable Richard Todrom, Honorable Ministers and Ministers of State, the Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Central Executive Committee present, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Your Excellency, we are joined by the national formal leaders. His Excellency, Vice President Sekandi Chiwanka, and the Right Honorable Chintu Musoke. The traditional leaders, the religious leaders, Deputy Head of Public Service and Deputy Secretary to Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries, all service chiefs and senior security officers, the RDCs, RCCs, and deputies, LC5 chairpersons, all NRM, NRA freedom fighters present, all Ugandans following the function live on TV, radio, and digital platforms. The abazukulu ba Muzeeyi, abazukulu ba Museveni, all the people of Kakumiro, Your Excellency, in a special way, you are also joined by a special guest, Mr. Deepak Mehta, the Managing Director and CEO Global Gases Group, United Arab Emirates. Abanyoro inywena, musibire muta, mwebale kwija. First of all, I take the opportunity to welcome you all to Kakumiro. I wish to thank His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the Cabinet for allowing us to celebrate in Kakumiro. As you are aware, since 2020, the country has been facing the challenges of COVID-19 and Ebola, which would not permit us to host these celebrations outside Kololo Independence Grounds due to restrictions of the standard operating procedures. I thank the National Organizing Committee under my leadership and coordinated by the Secretary Office of the President, Haji Yunus Kakande, for the arrangements of today's event. Thank you so much. Today we are not only celebrating the 37th Liberation Anniversary, we are also thanking God for the life of our dear President, who has going to the field. Your Excellency and Mama, despite your commitment to UPE and USE, like I've already told you, students continue to drop out of schools due to illegal charges in government schools. As you guided, we have put up a mechanism of having this habit eliminated, and I promise we shall eliminate this habit. Your Excellency, like I've already told you, that on land matters, the land fund is still minimal. As a government, we need to see that we increase on the land fund so that the question of land in the Bunyoro sub-region is dealt with once and for all. Your Excellency, we have our pending promises, and the caucus of Bunyoro told me that and the contact group, they want to meet Your Excellency at an appropriate time so that they can talk about these other issues, like, you know, you promised these people in Virembo, so they have been on me, they are here. Bagala kusisinkana Your Excellency, ba contact group, abawano ne Luwero. Your Excellency, the road from Muhoro Road to Chaterekera and Daiga has not been worked on up to now. And our people feel that that road can connect us to the other side of DRC. Chegegwa Hapuyo, Karuguza, Bugwara Pachwa Chikwaya, and also Kakumiro Nkoko Ntwetwe Masode. These are liberation roads that the people of this area still need to be tarmacked. Your Excellency and Mama, allow me to thank you all for coming and to thank you for accepting to commission our road. Thank you for commissioning our NRM house. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, that house of NRM costed us 217 million. And this money, you contributed 60 million, and I got that some money from colleague ministers and members of parliament, and that's how we managed to put up this structure. I want to
appeal to colleague ministers and members of parliament that we can do something within our meager resources without waiting for Mosei. We can do something. We have started with Kakumiro. We can identify another area and we go and do something. I believe we can, and yes, we can. Your Excellency, in the presence of the Vice President, I feel she's better positioned to invite you to speak to your people. Madam Vice President, let me take this opportunity to invite you to come and invite the President. Thank you so much.
Your Excellency, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and Mama Janet, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, the Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable Rukiri Nakadama, the Third Deputy Prime Minister, colleagues, ministers, members of Parliament, Excellencies, the ambassadors, the religious leaders, cultural leaders, and all invited guests in your different capacities. Allow me to congratulate His Excellency the President on the 37th anniversary of the NRM government in Uganda. Congratulations, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, this morning I came from a place called Chobe, that is northern Uganda. And when I arrived here, I saw some people who have come from Karamoja. I also saw some people who have come from Buganda. I saw some people who have come from Lango. And many of them say they traveled this morning, so many kilometers. And very confidently being sure that they will arrive here on time to participate in this very important ceremony. Your Excellency, what I'm trying to suggest is that the NRM under your leadership has created an enabling environment which has made Ugandans to be tightly united and speaking one language of transformation. I stand here to say that because the people of northern Uganda, when I was coming, told me to communicate to you that with that peace and security which they have received for the first time since independence, uninterrupted, they are very sure that you are the only leader who can continue anchoring that kind of peace in northern Uganda. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister has ably articulated the transformative programs which you, as the President, as the Chairman of the NRM, as the Commander-in-Chief, leading all of us are implementing in the country. I will not go into detail on a case-by-case basis. I promise that I will come back here in Bunyoro with the Right Honorable Prime Minister and the leaders of Bunyoro to speak to the people about those programs. Therefore, Your Excellency, allow me to take this singular honor and privilege to invite you to speak to us, because we are looking forward to receive your message. The floor is yours, sir.
Sit down, please. Sit down. Excellency Vice President, the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Ministers, the former Vice President and the former Prime Minister, their Highnesses, the cultural leaders, the Honorable Ministers and Members of Parliament, all the NRM and local government leaders, the commanders of the armed forces, and the wananchi of Uganda. Ati kambanze mbatebeze katoito aha muganda umuganda muri nyoro bagubaza bata umuganda contribution nugo muganda ka ntebeze katoito abayijukuru umuganda gwa Bunyoro aha bulembwa NRM ati hariho cy'abanyankore barukweta ehururu ninga abaganda baketa kawefube umuryono baketa bata ati umuganda gwo kubanza gwecyoka kinu arutaro rwa bulembwa NRM bikaba biri by'umwezi nkaga okwa kabiri obutwatera kabamba twarugayo n'emotoka twaraba kasambya twasara tweja na Bingora twagenda Kyenjojo ari Kyenjojo twakikama tweja Kagadi twagenda Kagadi twakikama tweja police station Isunga elioko maiso aho twehewe embundu RPG 7B abasajja baamini bakabagerekereho na bomu 3 ezo zikatukonyera maiso aho twaragaho Isunga twaka Karuguza erihe na hano mahiro zinga Maira 2 aho twasanga waka police station tweho otubundu tusatwaho hati engude enungiho ekabere okuruga Karuguza kwija hano Kakumiro kukwata uguru kugenda Nkoko konga tukatwerarikirire abatanzania bakaba inamahe mubende twatekereza ngo bashobora kwija kututanga mu maiso hano twasaramo kuraba hagato uko akaguto kabimuno tinguma naitwarabire okusarira Karuguza twagenda uko mu buguto bubi umukibira okushikya sahanka bukargaho boira tikyari umubuguto okushikya mwija kumpabara eitwara biro kwa hagato tujya twahika Nkoko saa zekiro nka saha 5 zekiro hanyuma twarga Nkoko twagenda Ntwetwe Kiboga no twatere base yitu so abantu babunyoro tukabaramu tubaratarabanize n'abapolisi batohereye umbundu busaho utahuteize zona tukaziyaho umusinge twabahubira Kajambu ato gukaguri umurundi gwo kubanza ugwa kabiri 85 twatera Kabamba General Sare enakuzo mwezi rumu January 85 behe mundu nyingi ati baraba cyaka kuriyo mu mpungi bargaho bajya Kegegwa oko right on nabanje yabe nabaza hapuyo nanyo narga kuri n'abasirikare runana kujya kubugana bana basare twa okushanga n'umunyoro bacyataki okushangana okwitirana twetirana birembo erinka ondi okayendugireno aho no twayiterine abantu amahaga bagene sare enakuzo mwezi 9 January 85 twarara hanso hey no mwiga nuko bagweta umurunyoro umugera hey nekisaru hanyuma bwanca twagenda hisomero rya Birembo abasejja bobote bajya batusangaho saha nka 5 twarwana Burembo amani twababinga ekiro twargaho twagenda kusesa tukaturi twaraba nkoko ntwetwe twagarukayo kuri omurukora. That was ejo kabiri karitango mugambe ngo karitango ya kabiri ya kasatu abantu beto bagenda kwiguraho oburemu obwa Rwenzori 85 mu gwakanaho bakaraba hano bagenda bagenda Rwenzori ogwakana n'obutwatera amasindi enaku z'omwezi abiri okwa kabiri 84 okutwaheye mundu nyingi muno nzoza tusoboyese okusingura obulemu. Karitango ya katano ni recruitment tukatera hoima obo ni njoya ebembera tera hoima ho enaku z'omwezi asatu okwa mukaga 84. Then eyo mukaga nabo amboine mbaza ba contact group abaikere nibatusagika nibatusindikira abaserikale nibatusindikira obukonyezi nabo ekyo ndozire tinkozeso mukisa gunu okugambira abayukuru omuganda gwa Bunyoro ahabulemu bwa NRM orutaro obulemu kubwahwaire ngo kumbarize mwikere nimutusagika omukukoma mwebare muno mugenda mumaiso n'okusagika. I was enumerating the contribution of the people of this area to the NRM struggle. I was mentioning the 7 categories of their contribution, which I don't want to repeat because they have heard them. Congratulations to all of you on this occasion of the 37th anniversary of the NRM victory in 1986. That victory came about because of the NRM's 4 principles that we had distilled out of the chaotic politics and governance that had bedeviled Uganda for almost 556 years, ever since the rule of the last Muchwezi king, Wamara, Ruhanja, Njojebunga. Now, some people talk about Uganda as if Uganda started with the British. I really feel offended when I hear people talking like that. We have been here since time immemorial. And we have been here with all sorts of governments. One of the few times we had peace in the whole area was under the dynasty of the Bachwezi. From about 900 AD to about 1350. And this is what I'm talking about here in summary. When the Bachwezi dynasty, you hear them, the Bachwezi, Wamara, Mulindwa, Ndahura, what the Baganda call Mukasa. We call him Mugasha. Those are all Bachwezi. Some were princes, but others were kings. Isimbwa is a Mchwezi. So during that time, this part of Uganda had peace. That's why you hear some of these wananchi still worship the Bachwezi. They think they were God, they were demigods, because they had brought peace. Now, when their kingdom collapsed for reasons I don't know, the successor dynasties of the Babito in Bunyoro, Toro, Congo, Balangira in Buganda, the Bahinda in Ankole, Karagwe, Buhaya, Bujinja, etc., the Bashambo in Mpororo, the Bainjinya in Rwanda, the clan chiefs in Buchiri. That's what we call Lango. Lango is called Buchiri. You know, I really get sick when I hear people talking as if they are foreigners here. I am from here. Nyondo msita wa hanu. Ingi wabajungu mgende mwisho nebyanyi. Nyondo wa hanu. So Lango, the name for Lango is Buchiri. Achori, Gani, had been, all these pharaohs, these groups had been incapable of uniting our people and were in constant bankrupt wars of greed and ignorance until the colonialists came on the scene and assigned them to the dustbin of history. Abajungu bayizire obo bukama kama ubona babuteka mu babu yaho abako bakabo esazire mu bekara mu ntaro ni barwana bonka na bonka Buganda Bunyoro Ankole Rwanda nkole omujungu yizire bona yabukwata yabo bagazo kurwana kabarega mwanga bakaba bamazire kwemara mu amani. The colonialists added to the bankrupt politics of tribal chauvinism pushed by the chiefs the poison of religious sectarianism. Abajungu aba bakama bakana barwana ntaro za mahanga. Omjungu yeja yaba yawo bona yabakwata kabarega mwanga abandi bona babundara bafoka abayiru babajungu hati konka okesala salamu kwa mahanga oku kwasigaramu hata abajungu kubeija bayongeramu obutwa bukwesala salamu kwa madini abakatoliki abaprotestanti abasiramu hatwa twaba n'obutwa bw'emiringo ebiri obutwa bw'amahanga okunobanagana okwa mahanga na okunobanagana okwa madini. They added, pushed by the chiefs, the poison of religious sectarianism, Catholics, Protestants, Muslims, Jews, etc., that had caused so much human hemorrhage in Europe, not to forget the conflict between the Hindus and the Muslims that had caused the breakup of the Indian subcontinent into the countries of India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Obo madini na mahanga buto bwakabi muno busisire bitweka bingi byensi buraya buhindi nkawo koyona na hanu. This bankrupt politics of identity, chauvinism, ethnicity, and religion could not allow the young state of Uganda, following independence in 1962, or its democratic institutions to survive. The crisis between Mutesa and Obote in 1966 and between Obote and Amin in 1971 forced the student revolutionaries to take up arms and lead the masses in the effort to destroy the colonial army, the Uganda army, as well as putting forward the 4 principles of the NRM that, as pointed out above, we had distilled out of watching the chaos between 1960 and 1986. You are familiar with the 4 principles: patriotism, Gonza Uganda, Pan-Africanism, Gonza Africa, socio-economic transformation, okuhindura embera y'abantu, and democracy. Government emerera musingi y'abantu. In these principles, it is this bakaba ina bakurasa abinomu. Norora, to get majority, 50% of the 82, you needed 42 at least. But nobody could get 50%. Why? Because of the sectarian politics. Now, when you see that NRM is winning all this time on the first round, it is because NRM is not a sectarian party. If it was a sectarian party, it would never win. If you try to create sectarianism of religion, you cannot get even 40% of the votes. If you go for tribes, much less. So therefore, it is these principles that enable Uganda to build institutions such as the patriotic political parties, the army. You cannot build an army with sectarian ideology. This is the problem you get in some of these countries. When you hear that a country cannot defend itself, it needs the UN to come and defend it. Big shame. Aba UN okundwanira yowe. Obo ngwejegire nkabire mbeirenta. But the mistakes start with that poison. If you believe in sectarianism, there's no way you can build a national army or the judiciary and so on that have guaranteed peace all these years. It is those principles that enabled us to build these institutions which have guaranteed the peace you are talking about. That is why we are celebrating now. Patriotism, loving Uganda, and Pan-Africanism, loving Africa, reoriented the Ugandans from following the politics of identity, tribes, religion, gender, etc., to following the politics of the legitimate needs of the people: peace, consumer goods, health, development, education, wealth creation, markets for our product, etc. Izo tukawasomesa twabagambira siti muruge habyamahanga, muruge habyamadini, okwesera salamu mu madini, mureke okurora ogu n'omuntu wa wehangaki ninga wa diniki, murore ebyetaago byanyu nibisana, mwena mwine ebyetaago bikusana, mwena numurumu enjara, numukwatwa, what do they call thirst? Umulinyoro bajeta wata? Iroho, that's Runyankore. Numukwatwa iroho, numurware ndwaire, ebizibu byanyu nibimu, nibisana. Abenshi abantu abebizibu bikusana, nibesarasaramu, nibechwamu. That was the message of the NRM. On account of that, our economy has grown from a miserable $1.5 billion in 1986 to 48 billion by the end of June 2023. The GDP per capita would be US dollars 1,067. You remember that to enter the middle income category, you need the GDP per capita of US dollars 1,039. This is now the second financial year we have been in that category. So we have already entered the middle income country, the one they have been talking about, but we need 3 years to officialize it. You need 3 years consecutively to be recognized as a middle income country. However, in my view, all these are low targets which Uganda will easily surpass. Why? You remember my admonitions about losing value through the export of raw materials. This low middle income economy we are talking about is still actually mainly a raw materials producing economy, where for a kilogram of coffee, we get US dollars 2 for bean coffee, while the wiser foreigners who roast the coffee, grind it, and pack it for sale in the supermarkets get US dollars 50 for the same kilogram. Ogwejegera kwa barkwiragura hati hano nitutunga dori ibiri abakiro y'omwana bali abahera abagezi kubafutwara omwana ogwo bagukaranga bagusa bagutoma upapura bo batunga dora 50 ito twatunga ibiri abagezi batunga 50 omwana gwaitu I have been trying to wake up our people, and I think that I have finally woken up some Ugandans from this sleep of ignorance. We are going to add value to more and more of our coffee and the other raw materials, cotton, maize, forest products, minerals, etc. This broad spectrum value addition movement will jumpstart our economy in a fairly short time to a $500 billion economy of US dollars 500 billion. I don't want to hear this economy of 48 billion, 50 billion, 60 billion. Ejo ni economy ya wejegezi. Abantu abarakutunda embire numanya kwisama rwimwe. Embire ibitoke byembire nabamanya banyoro. Embire nabazumanya. Hata umuntu atakumanya utakumanya kwisamarwa atunge mbire azuguzondi jo uriyo wagure mbire abantu yahisa nuyanyuke shande eshanda gihama marwa amarwa gehamu waraji esente zona abantu yazitwana iwo tsigara mbire ati nimba shomese nimba nyantinga orukhise mbire orukhinge mbire abanu yanyuke shande abanu yahisa marwa no kuteka jiwara yimu kuteka abanu yagiteka for all products omwani pamba the raw material producer should be the one to make the final product. If we do that, this economy will jump to a $500 billion economy rather than just dozens of billions of dollars. We now have the electricity, and we are adding more. We have the varied and massive raw materials, and increasingly, we have the entrepreneurs, local and foreign, and we have the African market that were put in place with our Pan-Africanist comrades. I've got one of my friends from Dubai, Mr. Deepak, is there. That man has invested in a number of areas, oxygen and so on. You remember, mujuka utatu ine corona tukatu ine kizubu cha oxygen. Eyo na bakana bagisaka heru. Bitatu oxygen ntujikwatira hano oxygen ero abiki no genda kusaka oxygen na hano ero. Therefore, on this occasion, I want to emphasize 5 points. These are: be clear about development. Entunguka. Enkuraine. Donglobo. Inachori. Apolu inatesu. And wealth. Obugeiga. Obuguda. Lonyo. Twine okwetegereza ebigambo bino bibiri. Entunguka, omulinyo bayeta enkulakulane. Enkulakulana, okay. Ekigambo ky'olujungu development. Enkulakulana. Entunguka. Nkoruguto runo orutwatongoza izoba lya hati. Eyo nkurakurana. Eyo nentunguka. Beitu omuntu tarkulya chorus. Tukija kugenda chorus nekijiko okatandika kutimbaho unindi enkurakurana. Oyina okulya ebyokulya nobitungo miringo ebiri. Nolima ebyokulya ninga noboine sente nobigura. So the road will not solve your poverty problem directly. You must use the road to grow the food or get money to buy the food. The same with the clothes, the same with whatever you want. So therefore, be clear about development and Tunguka on the one side, and wealth of Geiga. Be clear that socio-economic transformation involves the whole of society to move on two axes: money-based wealth creation with the Chivaro and mass education. Number 3 or 4, stamping out corruption from all government agencies in the central and the local governments. Number 5, stamping out sectarianism. Number 4, stamping out sectarianism and protecting, and number 5, protecting our environment. Those coming to Kakumiro today for the celebrations have seen how many tarmac roads we have done in Bunyoro and how much we have extended the electricity network. The NRM has, however, all this time been telling you that you do not eat tarmac roads, but you eat the food that you have either grown or bought. The same applies to clothing, housing, mode of locomotion, etc. The latter are all part of wealth, and the former, the electricity, are part of development. Therefore, for wealth, we are telling you that every adult must engage in wealth for money with the Chibaro, either as an entrepreneur or as an employee in the four sectors of commercial agriculture, industry, services, and ICT. No excuses for the Wakongozi. You may have a development, but if people are asleep, you can continue with poverty. Why? It is because what eradicates poverty, oboro, obavu, obunaku, chan, etc., is wealth. Development is a mere enabler of wealth creation. Enkurakurana tekusobora kumaraho obunaku. Enkurakurana amasanyarazi, engudo, amaizi gemidumo, amashomero, amarwaro, nibikuherezo musingi. Konko nokoso musingi ogwo kukora obugaiga omuka yawe ningo mukampuni yawe obuguda obunu burukumaraho obunaku nubingwa obuguda enkurakurana nesobora kubaho Kampala engudo ziriyo buri kyeka bita bayaya bakusinga obungi nobasaga Kampala korasi erhanu amasanyarazi gari aho za disco ziri aho za internet ziri aho umunaku nawe arihe aho umuyayi tene cyari gukora nabwekyo nimbasaba nokutera muno abebembezi okukabura abantu ngo obunaku obworo nubingwa obugaiga nobushanga nkahi okuhinga nokurisa nokujuba okurukora sente kandi okwinemu ekibaro. Aha kabiri amakorero amahango ninga make. Aha kashatu obuhereza nkeduka ninga ka hoteli ninga tourism obu nobuhereza kandi hariho ebyombi bizira hati bya ICT nibihereza obugaiga nabwekyo kumuragumena mugambe byombi mugambe entunguka enkurakurana eyatwena na obuguda obugaiga obugaga obwaburi maka obwaburi kampani obwaburi omuntu. Secondly, our principle number 3, socio-economic transformation, okuva omumbere y'obujajja etubera abomulembe. We need to go from okukora ekida kyonka, teach me each keken, subsistence economic activities, and be commercial with the Chibaro, and also ensure mass education so that the whole society embraces a science-led society and get out of ignorance and superstition where people believe that a talo, when somebody has got a swollen leg, where people believe that a tallow is caused by a dogo, witchcraft, and not by a bacteria known as Staphylococcus and Streptococcus bacteria that cause that cellulitis. Tulina okuruga omubutamanya nturaba omukusoma n'okukola emirimu ya sente. Therefore, all physical obstacles that interfere with education for all, such as school charges, abakusaba sente amasomero ga gavumenti, esente za gavumenti akusaba ebisale amasomero ga gavumenti tukaziihawo omwaka 2008 ba headmaster abamu bakajema baikana ne basaba esente amasomero ga gavumenti cyambiriza abana abamu okuruga mu masomero. Ekyo ntugenda kukiguraho olutaro, mujja kuhurira olutaro lw'amaani. Since many families cannot yet afford the paying of money for education, the government must provide free education in government primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. The present dropout rate at the secondary schools level of 64% is not acceptable. Stay tuned. You will hear what we shall tell you in a few weeks. Corruption will be stamped out. I congratulate some government agencies. I've seen people that had stolen PDM money and the Myoga money being arrested or being forced to refund the money. That is good. However, it's not enough. I have heard the Bazukuru crying about the district service commissioners selling local government jobs. Abejukuru bangambire ngo emirimo ya local government erahakatare oyino kusasura ngo basasura bagure emirimo aba bantu abonimo mbakenise mukwato bujuru tubakwate tubatware ruzerere emyanya. I have heard of girls being exploited sexually as bribes for jobs. Get evidence, please, devoted members of the public, and we expand and roast those pigs. Embisezo, twagala kuzocha. The DSOs and the CIDs should also be on notice. How does such corruption go on in your area of responsibility, and you do not know, or if you know, you do not report? Police, they will be the same. You still hear some elements pushing sectarianism of tribe and religion. We long ago banished sectarianism. I believe it is both a criminal and electoral offense. Somebody can lose his or her seat of an elected office if it is proved that he used sectarianism even when he is already elected. Bene byokosa mahanga na madini tukabitekeira ombiragiro omuntu kugamba tumunkome awa ndimunyoro kasangirwe ninga kagamba munkome abakwa ndio mfuruki wanyu turenda kunyaza abanyoro nonyaza abantu nofo kinabo. Hati abantu abo bona twatunga obujulizi orukozesa orurimi orwo orukubaganisa abantu ngu naronda obururu nakomwa kandi omurimo gwabo bakaba bamuronzere nibagumbingamu nabwo ekimwe aba Bunyoro, which is lucky to be an area where many of our tribes are. Make sure that you get rid of this nonsense. You elect somebody because he or she is good, not because of tribe, because of religion, because of this. Mwihe obutu obo omu Uganda, obutu mwihemu. Mukoma omuntu habwe bikorwa bye birungi. I believe it is both a criminal and electoral offense. Somebody can lose his or her seat of an elected office even if it is proved that he used sectarianism, even if he is already elected. Why then preserve such parasites? Get the evidence and we get rid of them. They can also be prosecuted criminally. Finally, the issue of the environment, the forests, the wetlands, the riverbanks, the lake shores, the hilltops, etc., are crucial for our survival. We need water and clean air. Ningonza mmanye ngombintu byone ebikuru ebintu bikusinga obukuru nembeho nejembeho eiturukwitya hamwe n'amaizi aguturukunywa kandi agarukumeza ebyokurya byone bitukurya nabwekyo kandi amaizi ago garigo mu bisaru garigo mu bibira nabwekyo abantu abarukusisa ebibira bakasisa ebisaru abo abantu banyanzugwa ba Uganda ningoza mukimanye abo ko tokusobora kugamba kindi nganjani ya Uganda okatema omusingi gwaitu ogwo bwomezi amaizi ebisaru enyanja ebibira nugwo musingi gw'obwomezi bwaitu ogwo ruhanga yatuhaire. Therefore, interfering with the water bodies or with the forests is actually an act of grave enmity, much bigger than coin or these other enemies. You are threatening our livelihood, our survival. Nimugonza tufoke irungu lyo musenyu nkabanda abanda amurora ahando. We need water and clean air. Both of them come from the wetlands and forests. You cannot say that you are a patriot of Uganda, but you damage our wetlands, our forests, our riverbanks, our lake shores, our steep gradients on which our livelihood depend. As of Ninjahanu, agency yitu iruhanga yatuhaire ruhanga kachango umulingo gwayo ebyo bibare mukorore ebyo ebare biba hamto wakasozi ebare ebyo hagati y'ekibare neitaka amaizi niho garaba agensoro ensoro mujumanya ensoro muri nyoro kirumu amaizi ag'enshuro nigarwo mu mabare denka riri ibare riri hariya noshanga riri hansi konka hagati yaryo n'itaka hariho umuhanda ati nijoro kwera kugwa amaizi garaba hagati y'ibare n'itaka gashononoka hansi gegukira mu ruhanga niko kurura ekataho mu itaka hagati y'orwazi n'itaka hanyuma ahanso mu Ruhanga ukatunga inshuro. So abantu okurimo mabara mu kisomesa abantu bakirugeho amabare bagareke omukasozi murima hansi ahiguru amabare gasigare gaine emiti orwo rubugo rwaitu urokwata ensoro okuturetera ensoro okureta ensoro ahansi mu Ruhanga nko yahangire ensei. Even food is possible because of air, water, etc. You become a munyanzigwa enemy when you damage this. 40% of our rain comes from these forests and wetlands. It is the 60% that comes from the oceans. How can we destroy ourselves in this way on account of some greedy people? Therefore, be alerted. In a few weeks, I will launch a mega effort to get rid of this parasitism also. Ruhanga abakume.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the wisdom and timely messages always to Ugandans. Your Excellency, you've done your part. You've sensitized the people. You've guided Ugandans. Your Excellency, you've created awareness. You've done everything possible to transform this country. What is remaining, Your Excellency, is our part as the leaders to do what is required of us. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, in a special way, allow me to introduce to you the senior officials who have joined us, who have joined you, sir, on this function. The senior officials have been led by Her Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Rose-Peer. Your Excellency, we have the Right Honorable Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja Msafiri. Your Excellency, we have the third Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda, Right Honorable Nakadama Lukia Isanga. Your Excellency, we have the Honorable Ministers. Your Excellency, we've been joined by the Right Honorable, we've joined by the Honorable Major General Jim Mwez, Minister for Security. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Obua Dennis Hampson, Government Chief Whip. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Chitutu Mary Goretti, Minister for Karamoja. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Mululi Mukasa Wilson, Minister for Public Service. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Norbert Mao, Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Kasule Lumumba Justin, Minister of General Duties in the Prime Minister's Office. Your Excellency, we have Dr. Ruth Nankabirwa, Sentamu, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development. We do have Honorable Anita Evelyn Kajik, Minister of Investments and Privatization. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Bahati David, Minister of State for Industries. We do have Honorable Alice Kaboyo, Minister of State for Well. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Namyangu Jennifer, Minister of State for Nyoro. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Singer Soke Victoria, Minister of State for Local Government. We do have Honorable Nandutu Agnes, Minister of State for Karamoja Affairs. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Nyirabashir Sarah Mateke, Minister of State for Youth and Children. We do have Honorable Minister Cheyune Haruna Kasolo, Minister of State for Microfinance. We do have Honorable Mugasa Grace Mary, Minister of State for Public Service. We do have Honorable Minister Carol Rose Lily, Minister of Ethics and Integrity. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Queen Chui Grace Freedom, Minister of State for Northern Uganda. We do have Honorable Minister Okasai Opolot, Minister of State for Energy. We do have Honorable Jacob Oboth, Minister of State for Defense. We do have Honorable Minister Bika Woya, Minister of State of Health. We do have Lieutenant Colonel retired Dr. Ramirama, Minister of State for Agriculture and Animal Industry. We do have Honorable Minister Dr. Peter Lokeris, Minister of State for Minerals. Your Excellency, you have Honorable Minister Joyce Sebugwao, Minister of State for ICT. Your Excellency, you have Honorable Minister Ogwang Peter, Minister of State for Education and Sports. Your Excellency, we have Honorable Sekindi Aisha, Minister of State for Water. We do have Honorable Namganza Passis, Minister of State Housing and Urban Planning. Is there any minister missing, honorable ministers? I want to thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Your Excellency, sir. Allow me invite the Master of Ceremonies for the Chancellor, Major General George Igumba, to come and present to you those individuals that are indeed to be decorated. They have already been decorated. Thanks to your permission, sir. Major General George Igumba, sir.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and Commander-in-Chief of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, Ma'am Janet Katam 7, Honorable Minister of Education and Sports. Your Excellency, for our meeting time, permit me trade on the protocol that you competently took us through at the beginning of your address. At this year's 37th Victory Day, His Excellency the President is pleased to award medals to deserving persons, and to do the presentation is me, Major General George Igumba, the Master of Ceremonies of the Chancery, as per Section 14(1) and 2 of the National Honors Awards Act 2001 as amended. But before the award ceremony proper, Your Excellency, it is humbly requested that you perform one singular duty of launching the 60th National Independence Medal, the Diamond Jubilee, which will be awarded to exemplary achievers who may be civilians, members of the UPDF, Uganda Police Force, and the Uganda Prison Service, effective this investiture ceremony. The 60th Uganda National Independence Medal is awarded to an individual in recognition of outstanding service and loyalty to the country from 9th October 1962 up to 9th October 22, pursuant to Section 3 of the National Honors and Awards Act of 2001 as amended. Protocol, please. Mzee has launched.
Protocol.
The launch, His Excellency is supposed to unveil the dummy medal. Thank you, Your Excellency. Now that the Diamond Jubilee Medal has been launched by His Excellency, now the award of the medals. In accordance with Section 3, Part 2 of the National Honors and Awards Act of 2001 as amended, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda has approved the award of medals to 45 persons during the National Victory Liberation Day celebrations. The medals are the 60th National Independence Medal, Diamond Jubilee, the Nalubale Medal, the Dam Medal, and the Luwero Triangle Medal. The names of the 45 awardees were duly considered by the Presidential Awards Committee and have been grouped in two distinct categories as follows. Civilian military decorations. One is the 60th National Independence Medal, 37 persons. 2, the Nalubale Medal, 5 persons. And 2, the military decorations, which has the Dam Medal, 2 persons, and the Luwero Triangle Medal, 1 person, total 45. Your Excellency, first on the list is Dr. Sentong Robert, a male adult of 57 years, who hails from Kayunga district. He is a highly trained and skilled healthcare worker with a passion for the rural population. As the president of the Association of Surgeons of Uganda, he actively participated and advocated for free rural surgery camps in all regions of Uganda. The surgical camps have since grown and eventually been emulated by other fields of medicine to reach out to the underprivileged Ugandans for free surgical care that would otherwise be hard to access. Next is Mr. Mathias Mulumba, a male adult of 56 years who hails from Mpigi district. He is a senior trainer and supervisor in the Presidential Initiative Program for Skilling the girl and boy child. Using his expertise, he started a workshop in 1983 in Kampala along Mawanda Road, which he used to call upon the youth to join him and learn various skills, including shoemaking, modern repairs, and leather tanning, from which over 1,000 youth have been trained and have managed to set up their own workshops. The third on the list, Your Excellency, is Dr. Matovu Ahmed, a male adult of 55 years and hail from Kayunga district. Dr. Matovu Ahmed is currently the district officer, Kayunga district. He has ventured in several research and made several publications in the field of medicine, e.g. factors influencing uptake of prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV, in health facilities in Kabarore district, and use of anti-malarial drugs, a case study of Kayunga Hospital, Uganda. The fourth is Professor Dr. Ralph Gall, a male adult of 81 years and a German national. He was an eye care specialist. He operated and cured thousands of Ugandans of eye-related illness in the many years he stayed in Uganda. The fifth is Dr. Samuel Ahmed, a male adult who hails from Kampala City, who set up a state-of-the-art modern dental practice and medical practice facility in 1994. He engaged the then Dental School of Mulago and realized the extreme need to modernize and update the facility. The sixth on the list, Your Excellency, is Dr. Mukhtar Ahmad. May his soul rest in peace. A male who hailed from Kampala City. Dr. Mukhtar Ahmad volunteered as a medical supervisor of Rubaga Hospital for a good number of years, having taken over the mantle from his late father. He founded St. John's Ambulance Service, for which he was recognized and knighted with the Order of St. John by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, may her soul rest in peace, through the then governor of the Ugandan Protectorate prior to independence. Number 7 on the list, Your Excellency, is Mrs. Mahera Ahmed, a female adult hailing from Kampala City. She was born in the northwestern region of an Indian subcontinent called Kashmir. She first came to Uganda in 1959 during the pre-independence colonial days. She began voluntary work with the Women's Corona Society of Uganda, which was a Commonwealth organization. Next is Mr. Yolam Labu, may his soul rest in peace, a male adult from Buko district. He was a politician, cultural and religious leader. He was the chairperson of REACH program in Chesowe sub-county, championing the fight against female genital mutilation, which reduced drastically and replaced it with education by starting Chesowe Senior Secondary School, which offered bursaries to the victims. Next is Mr. Hanfred Spark. Gatis, a male adult of 7 years and a German national. He is the Chief Executive Officer Bazungu EV and H. GPS optic machines, Mtaspagtis in partnership with the Luero District Administration has supplied free health technical equipment and items that have made it possible to reduce blindness and improve the quality of life of affected Ugandans. Next is His Excellency Dr. Wade and Wolfgang, a male adult and German national. He was assigned as honorary consul in German by His Excellency the President of Uganda in 1870. Rome in 1987. Since then, he has dedicated his life and work without reservation for Uganda's interests and development. He has organized various investment promotion tours for German companies and accompanying them to Uganda. Next is none other than Mr. Kagwe Ahmed, a male adult of 62 years, who hails from Jinja district. Mr. Kagoye Ahmed is the current Sergeant at Arms of the Parliament of Uganda. While in this capacity, he has achieved the following. He has ensured the security of Parliament at all times, even during those periods of so many bomb scare in Kampala in the 90s. He has successfully played his role during national functions like national budget days and State of the Nation address. Among others. Next on the list, Your Excellencies, Mr. Omar Bone Otuko, a member adult of 36 years, hailing from Otuke district. Bone Omara is one of the 3 cohort engineers who put their lives on the cross and traveled to Japan during the COVID-19 pandemic to design, build, test, and launch Uganda's first satellite. This momentous achievement was orchestrated when His Excellency the President wrote to the Honorable Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation to prioritize and focus on space science and technology for the country. Next is Mr. Mujuni Edgar. A male adult of 31 years hailing from Toma district. Engineer Edgar Mujuni is one of the 3 Ugandan engineers who designed, built, tested, and launched the country's first ever satellite. He holds a master's degree in space systems engineering from Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan. He too holds a first-class degree in telecommunications engineering from Chambogo University. Next is Mr. Ndaula Ronald, a male adult of 50 years, hailing from Rural District. He took on business and employed several people in his businesses in the district, thus helping many people earn a living. Next is Mr. Tebusweke Derek, a male adult of 30 years, hailing from Wakiso District. Derek Tebusweke is one of the 3 Ugandan engineers who designed, built, tested, and launched the country's first ever satellite, alluded to earlier. He holds a Master of Science degree in electrical and Space Systems Engineering from Kyushu Institute of Technology, Japan, and a Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from Makerere University. Next on the list, Your Excellency, is Miss Tamkede Justin, a female adult of 64 years, hailing from Kayunga District. Tamkede took on farming business where she's engaging in both animal and crop husbandry. Under animal husbandry, she raises dairy cattle and earns money by selling milk. On the side of crop husbandry, she majorly grows sweet potatoes and maize. Next on the list, Your Excellency, is Chief Kaziz Boniface, may his soul rest in peace. A male adult who hailed from Tungamo district. He started the journey of development and patriotism in Mpororo since 1970s. He started serving as parish chief of Omu, Njenyi Nyanga, Mutojo, Nyakariro, Rwanya, Chempene, and Rubale sub-county as a sub-county chief. Next is Mr. Ziribasanga Robert, a male adult of 53 years who hails from Buyende district. He was the chairman LC5 for Buyende district and an ardent political mobilizer. During his tenure as LC5 chairperson, Mr. Ziribasanga spearheaded establishment of Buyende Seed Secondary School, which is currently serving over 1,000 students. He also led the elevation of Bugaya Health Center 3 to Health Center 4, hence improving health care service delivery within the district. Next is Mr. Senoga Mubanda Joseph, a male adult of 61 years, hailing from Kayunga district. Senoga started working at Kayunga Hospital in 1986 up to 2002 as a clinical officer, and during this period helped treat many people. Your Excellency, I request that I pause for a moment so that you may have a photo opportunity with the aforementioned beneficiaries as I continue with the list. Thank you, Your Excellency. Following Mr. Senoga Mubanda is none other than Mr. Ruzira Samuel, a male adult of 62 years, who hails from Kayunga district. He is a farmer and production of pineapples, which covers about 10 acres, banana and maize. In managing his business, he employs over 50 people. Next on the list is Princess Pauline Nasolo Chiyimba, a female adult of 63 years, who hails from Masaka district. Omumbeja Pauline Nasolo Chiyimba is a rare type of cadre who has immensely contributed to the uplifting of the status of women in society and has mobilized tremendously to ensure all government programs, especially those to do with uplifting women, are accomplished. She is among the pioneers of the Uganda Expanded Program for Immunization and pioneers who train midwives in life-saving skills. Next is Sergeant Robert Sempija, a male adult of 60 years who hails from Masaka district. He is a contact for intelligence since 1990s. During the struggle in 1980s, he used to supply food together with the late Yusuf Kabenge for the 3rd Battalion at Chabakuza in the Masaka district. Now, the Nalubale Medal. Which medal is awarded to all civilian activists who have contributed towards the political development of Uganda, either through armed struggle or civil disobedience and otherwise, right from colonial times to date. And on the list are Mr. Setimba Zebron, a male adult of 86 years who hails from Kayunga district. Mr. Setimba employs over 50 people on his farm, which has contributed to an increase in people's income and standards of living. Next is Mr. Rutaisire Augustine, a 54-year-old male adult hailing from Kayunga district. He trained as a fighter and sometimes he was involved in intelligence gathering for NRM fighters. In 1983, his father, Mr. Mbondo Bondo, died while in action as he was buried at Nyamazi in the present-day Nakaseke district. Next is Mr. Chamanywa William Kaserebe, a male adult who hails from Hoima district. He was an informer during the liberation struggle. Next is Miss Chomuhendo Eva, a female adult who hails from Hoima district. She provided shelter to the fighters during the liberation struggle. Next is Miss Mboneko Stella, a female adult also hailing from Hoima district. She was an informer during the liberation struggle.
Members of Parliament from Queen District have disputed the statistics by the Uganda Bureau of Statistics. The dispute of violence
which
within the
is
district.
awarded to a member of the military
report,
who was
the
or is wounded
cases
and
are on
or
the rise,
killed
putting the district at 20%,
in action.
making it the highest in the region.
And on my list is
the
Mr. Dayal
quoted figures from the recent survey by the Uganda
Magere
Bureau of Statistics
Saul,
of 2022. The report put Mayoka sub-county at the top with 45% and Kwenyin sub-county at the bottom with 6%. These figures
rest in peace. He hailed from Mbara district. He served gallantly and was integrated into the Uganda National Liberation Army until late 1981 when he joined the NRM in Luweero. In 1986, Diaz was commanding a force combining Bwaise and Kawempe in Kampala, but was unfortunately shot dead by a fleeing soldier. The second person beneficiary for Dam Medal is Captain Bakatorati Moses. May his soul rest in peace. He hailed from Mbara district. He served gallantly and was integrated into the Uganda National Liberation Army until late 1981 when he joined the NRA in Luweero. He continued serving university students until he died in 1990. Your Excellency, the next category